Captain America Brave New World. I do not get why this movie is getting so much hate. It is not that bad. Like everywhere I look online, it's a reviewer just talking about how Marvel's lost it, all that crap. Marvel hasn't been having the greatest track record, but this is certainly not a bad film at all. This film is on the same level as like Shang-Chi to me. It's not the absolute greatest film, Marvel film ever, but it ain't like god awful. Like a god awful Marvel film to me was Black Widow or Eternals. Those were god awful. Those were like that was a slog to sit through. Like the majority of Black Widow was just them sitting at a table in the middle of Russia arguing and bickering and talking. Like that was like that felt like 75% of that movie. And the fight scenes were kind of trash too. Like the red guy, whatever his name is, versus uh Taskmaster. Like I at least hoped that that fight was going to, have some sort of, I don't know, zing and pep. But it barely had any of that. Like that was very lackluster. Very very anticlimactic. Like the fights in Brave New World were way better than Black Widow. Like, I feel like people just want to hate that movie. They want to hate this movie for some reason. I don't know what it is. I'm like, I don't know what they were seeing, what they were expecting. Like anybody watching this video, all I can say is just watch the movie for yourself because it is not a bad film. Like I feel like a lot of these people who hate this movie, they they wanted to make them feel a certain way, and it doesn't. But just because it doesn't make you feel that way doesn't mean it's a bad film. I feel like they're not judging the film on its own merits, on what the actual positives are versus the negatives. You know, I feel like there's a group of people that are in their minds they want this movie to make them feel like Endgame made them feel, or an Infinity War made them feel, or Civil War made them feel. And it's like it's not that movie. It's not those movies. Like those movies to me, because of everybody who was involved in the movie, the kind of characters who was in it, the build up to those movies, uh those movies were earned throughout the years of Marvel building up to that stuff. So by the time it got to those movies were like Thanksgiving dinner. It had everything. You had a little bit of everything on the table, and everything was good and well cooked. It was a whole meal, Thanksgiving meal. You know, several different meals on the table that you had anything to choose from that was just great. Captain America Brave New World is not a Thanksgiving meal. I will admit that. It is not that. But you know what it is? It is a very delicious turkey sandwich. It's not a larger than life meal, but it's a good turkey sandwich. And it's nothing wrong with a film being just a regular turkey sandwich. A turkey sandwiches are not bad at all. Sometimes you don't have Thanksgiving dinner. You're not having Thanksgiving dinner every night for dinner. Sometimes you come home, you just want a sandwich real quick, and then you just want to go to bed. That's what this movie is. It's not a larger than life film, but it has a beginning and end, one two pieces of bread at the beginning and end. It has fresh vegetables. The movie doesn't go on way longer than it should. It's got condiments for the characters. Say that's the characters personality. It has a certain kind of flavor and style to it. That's not. It like I said, it's not like Tony Stark larger than life, but it's fine. It's not bad at all. There's nothing here that's just like awful. And then you got the story, which is the meat, and it's turkey. You know, it's not it's not a well seasoned steak. You know, it's not like chicken parm. It's just some turkey that's fresh and fresh cut, and it's lightly seasoned, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with this film to the point where people have to bash it the way that they're bashing it. Every film does not have to be a Thanksgiving dinner, and I think a lot of these people who are bashing this movie, they just want it to be that so much. And I keep hearing this phrase, "Oh, this movie's not saving Marvel." Stop expecting every next Marvel movie to save Marvel. Just watch this movie for what it is. This movie was structured very well to me. It was paced very well. It was edited very well. The only like huge gripe with the film is that the the dialogue has some cringe moments, but it wasn't enough to ruin the film. It just, the actors were following the writing, and it just kind of didn't work at sometimes. And sometimes it's like that, you know. It's not doesn't make this film god awful, you know. Like, just this movie doesn't make you feel like you just smoked some crack. It doesn't give you that same high as some of those other Marvel films do. But you know, just because something isn't crack doesn't mean it's not good. It doesn't mean it's a terrible film because it didn't give you the same high crack did. You know, there are other good things out there that make you feel good that might be good for you. You know, this Captain America Brave New World does not deserve all this hate at all. It is a fine film. Please go see it for yourself. I don't understand why people say it's boring. It wasn't boring at all. It didn't even feel like it was too long. Like, I'll tell you a movie that I thought was fine, but I felt it was just way too long. The Matt Reeves Batman movie. That movie went on and on and on and on and on and on and on. It was not paced well to me. That movie was like that movie was like it felt like that they were trying to make like a Netflix show, but they compiled all of the episodes into one movie. Like, that movie felt like it should have been a season one of a show. It was a lot going on there, a lot of branching storylines, a lot of different things going on in that film. Captain America: Brave New World knows what it wants to be and knew where it wanted to go. It stayed focused on its goal the entire film. That's a good that's a positive. I mean, you may not like love the subject matter, but to say that it's awful, that's no, it's not an awful film. It's not an awful film. Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, that was an awful film. That film was trash, complete trash. There was a lot of things in that movie that just didn't make sense, things that felt forced. It was too long as well. It was one of those films that tried to make everybody happy by putting all this stuff in there that people talked about online and whatnot. And then trying to make everybody happy, they made everyone upset. And it was just a mess. Brave New World is absolutely not a mess at all. It's very well structured. Sam shows why Cap chose him as the new Cap. He's just a regular guy, like all of us. He's just a guy. And he's got this responsibility. He's got this platform, and he's trying to do the best he can with it and do the most good he can with the Captain America platform. Not everybody can stand stand on that stage. That's a lot of responsibility, and he even addresses that in the film. He it's challenging to him, and I thought that was a really nice moment that he had in the film where he talked about the challenges he has, the personal challenges he has with upholding the Captain America standard. You know, this man ran into a Hulk by himself with no Hulkbuster. You got to give him some credit. Give Sam some credit. Like, come on. Like he is, I feel like people just don't want to, like, they just refuse to try and see his good qualities, and they were just refused to like and accept him. They just want to hate this film. They don't want this film to be, because they want this the old Avengers, and I get it. Like the old Avengers were great, you know. But I think this is a positive step forward. This movie, like I said, it's not a larger than life film. It's just, to me. Let me just say this: like, the entire MCU to me is a TV show. It's just every episode is not premiering on TV. It's just premiering in the movies. Every episode of the Marvel TV show is a movie. And this is just one of those episodes that's just, it's not the season finale. It's not the the big episode that's going to change TV forever. It's just another episode in the story to move everything along. And those episodes, just because an episode is like that doesn't mean it's a bad episode, you know? Stop expecting every single little Marvel movie to come out to give you this overwhelming high. Like, this movie was fine. It doesn't deserve hate. Is it an Oscar worthy movie? Absolutely not. It is not an Oscar film at all. I won't say that. But it don't deserve the hate it's getting. It is not a bad film. There have been way worse films. There have been way worse Marvel films. Come on. Me personally, I think Guardians of the Galaxy 1 is a terrible film. I hated Guardians 1. I like this film more than Guardians 1. Guardians 1 had the same problems I had with Black Widow. It was just the Guardians arguing with each other for like 40% of the movie. Let me say 75% of the movie. 40 minutes of the movie was them like arguing. I know somebody's going to try to do the math there and it might be wrong, but you get what I'm trying to say. Majority of the movie, I just felt like they were just bickering. I feel like I'm not even a huge fan of James Gunn like that. I'm not trying to throw some straight bullets out at him or anything. I'm just like, I just I he's one of the main reasons I didn't like that movie. I just feel like he tries to do this thing that Quentin Tarantino does, where he has his characters just like talking to each other. And Quentin Tarantino is like the master of writing conversations. And James Gunn is not that. He's not that guy to me. Like, his when his characters sit down and talk, it just feels so forced sometimes. It just feels like, huh? It's funny, right? Huh? Huh? Isn't that funny? Like, that's the kind of vibe it gets. It's like the friend that you have in school that wants to be your friend so bad, and he's just trying too hard to be your friend to make you laugh. And it's just like, dude, we can be cool. Just relax. You know, that's the kind of feeling James Gunn's movies have to me. You know, I'm hoping Superman does well. The trailer look good. You know, I'm hoping for the best. And I like Guardians 3. That was a surprise. I gave that a high score because I don't like James Gunn or his movies really, and he won me over with that film. I thought he did a great job of Guardians 3. But going back to Captain America, A Brave New World, I like that movie better than I like Guardians 1. You know, less is more sometimes. Wasn't a larger than life movie, but it was a structured, well crafted, simple story, easy to follow. Had a solid beginning and end. Action was decent, and it's just like, what more do y'all want? Like these people that are calling this movie trash. It's like y'all expecting the moon and the stars every single Marvel film. You're not going to get that every single Marvel film. Don't I feel like people are judging it because it doesn't, you know, because this movie didn't change the game. And it's like that doesn't make it a bad film that because it didn't do that. That doesn't make it a terrible or awful film. So I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get people's like this vitriol over this movie. You don't have to like it, but to call it like terrible, come on. There are way worse movies than this. Like I would be more I can understand it more if people say it's just okay. And okay, I can okay. Yeah, I'm with you there. It's just okay. You know, I had a good time with it, but somebody just thinks it's just okay. That's like I think that's the worst this film should get. Just okay, but just okay is not awful, and just okay for a Marvel film doesn't mean that it has to be uh 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 spat all over the way this film is. Like it does not deserve any of this hate at all. Like people who are watching this, give the movie a chance. Go see it for yourself. It is not a bad film. It is not a bad film. It's a nice little Friday night. You want to go see like a fun little action flick, with your family, your girlfriend, or even like I saw it alone. I just went it because I don't think anybody in my family really cared about it that much, you know. But I have people that do want to see it, but I feel like they're not like put setting time aside. They'll see it when they'll see it. I really wanted to see what all the hate was about because I was really looking forward to this film, and I was like disappointed that oh man, it wasn't that great. It didn't. Oh man, that don't sound good. And then when I saw it for myself, I'm like, what are they talking about? What are these critics talking about? It is not bad. They're making it seem like oh my god, it's the end of the world. Marvel's dead. Like from this movie, this movie is not a Marvel's dead movie at all. It's fine. It's just as good as Shang-Chi. It's just as good as Shang-Chi. In fact, I think that the CGI in this movie is better than Shang-Chi's CGI. The climax of Shang-Chi was little iffy for me. I didn't like that those last fights. The beginning was a better Shang-Chi. The beginning of Shang-Chi was better than the ending. But Brave New World just it stayed on point the entire film. It never like got out of its whack. I never maybe I shouldn't say that. That was a weird way to explain it. It never it never strayed too far from what it was trying to be. Or the larger than life things in the movie didn't just feel forced or over the top in a way that just made you sort of roll your eyes, you know, and then turn into a bunch of like magical BS like Shang-Chi did. And I know that's like a part of the whole story, but it just like after a while it's just like, okay, all right. I mean, magical dragons and okay, all right. But Brave New World was like it it stayed on point the entire film. They had the same sort of it kept that same energy that it started with. And it felt like a cat film. It was more grounded. And then you had the Hulk in there, but it's still within the Marvel universe. It didn't feel like the Hulk just came out of nowhere. You saw the build up leading up, or you know it was coming. And the way they explained it and the way that it it happened, I felt it was plausible. Like, okay, he was, I could see how how that could happen to Ross, you know? And the villain, I forget his name, the true villain. Um I thought he was fine too. He wasn't terrible villain like who was a really bad villain in Marvel that I just like absolutely hated. Uh I did not like the villain in Thor: The Dark World. I did not like the first Ant-Man villain. I didn't really like the second Ant-Man villain either. Those villains were kind of like, eh. Like this guy had reasonable motivation. You know, I feel like people wanted because who like or who love this character from the comic, they wanted to see a lot more there. But I don't know. I feel like this is a less is more situation with that villain. He played his role and ran his course, and I felt like what they had him do in the film was what was needed for the film as a whole. He didn't need all this other extra stuff. Anything else would have been too over the top. And that's what I liked about this film. It was very balanced. It was very well balanced. And nothing felt like it was too much in one place, too little in another place. And that's why I say just go see it for yourself. It is just a solid, well made action flick. Not larger than life, but it's a good time, at least. It's not bad by any means. It is not the kind of film that's just going to piss you off. And I don't know why these people are pissed off so much. I feel like they think it's popular to hate this film, so they got to make a a hate review because that's what's going to get the reviews. That's what most people want to see and hear. I feel like there's a large group of people that want this film to be bad. So let's make a review just smashing this film so that I can get views or whatever. But I don't know. I'm just that's how it feels to me. But I can't speak for everybody. I don't know what's going on through these reviewers' heads. But I don't see what they see. I see a movie that's fine. And like I just want people to see it for themselves. Just see it for yourself. Go give this movie a chance, please. I don't think that you're going to hate it as much as these reviewers online are saying you're going to hate it. But that's all I have to say about that.